Yo, yo. How you guys doing tonight? Good to see you. We are back with more Octopath Traveler 2. I guess we'll give it one more night, see how it plays out. See what's going on a little bit here. I think we did 2 of the chapter 2s yesterday. We're going to keep working through that. I think we're going to a new area today, which should be fun. So we're just going to do that a little bit. Maybe have ourselves a little drink, too. Mm-hmm. What brand is that? What brand is this? This is Deep Eddies. My wife turned me on to this about a month ago, and I've been really enjoying it. It's tasty. I think we just finished. Ooh. Cool. Okay. Then we come down here and work on Casty's number 2. All right, cool. Let's do that. Deep Eddy sponsorship when? Yeah, I'll have to talk to him. Did I see the news about Dark and Darker? Is that related to the P3 stuff? Because I did. And I am very interested to hear the official stuff from them on that. Yep.
Prepare yourself. I'm waiting.
Well, well.
Thinking time. Pierce them. Wings of
What's the stuff about P3? So basically it has come out that there was a project by Nexon called P3 that was essentially Dark and Darker. Like it was Dark and Darker. Like there's no denying it. It was pretty much exact same thing. So
What to do?
what happened is that Nexon canceled the project. So there was no chance that it was going to come out. And then some employees left Nexon and joined with Iron Mace, and they made Dark and Darker. And of course, the question is, well, why do they care if they cancel the project? And that's because obviously Dark and Darker has become wildly and obscenely popular. So now Nexon, of course, is like, okay, now that it's popular, we're not okay with this. So that's where they are. Now, granted, of course, it's not something that should be done anyway. I mean, it's, you know, it does look pretty clearly like, I mean, they look very, very, very similar. And I think there is some stuff where they're claiming that actually some of the code and or assets were taken as well. Which, of course, that would just straight up be theft, right? That's theft. So we're going to have to kind of figure out exactly what's going on. And again, I don't think they really responded to it yet. So I'm interested to see how they're going to respond.
Cleaning time. Well, well. Easy.
But I mean, if it's the kind of thing where it does turn out to be Nexon's assets, like, I don't know if that's going to mean the project is in danger, or if that means that, like, I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. Like, do they have to stop saying it? Does that mean Nexon gets a cut of the profits? Like, what happens? Maybe they have to go to arbitration of some kind and figure it out from there, but we'll have to see. Don't look good, I can tell you that much. It don't look good.
Now it begins.
Oh, I was supposed to bring in Casty instead of Temina. Whoops.
Choose your next move wisely. I return your wrath twofold.
Thanks.
thinking time.
Very well.
I return your wrath twofold for the pride of Cohh.
Ooh. Thanks for the gold, buddy.
Out of my way. I need a plan. This one's for me.
Prepare yourself.
I need to put the
I'm waiting.
I need to put that thing on him.
Ready?
The thing.
Well, well. Easy. All tidied up.
Oh my. Okay. It needs slot. So I want to take this off of you. I would just take it off. Yeah, you're the one that's going to be using MP mostly. Cool. Oh. No, Zassin, you're right. I think what Nexon is saying is that they believe some assets, quote unquote, assets could be code, assets could be graphics, or models. Like, we'll again, we're gonna have to let all this stuff kind of come out before we can talk too much about it. You know, we just don't know what's going on yet.
Allow me.
What to do? Well, well. What's next? And so it goes.
Let the experiment begin.
Where was I?
My turn. Well, well. Easy. All
Marvin
tidied
says
up.
ass sets. Yes, not assets, ass sets. They have numerous different groups of butts, and it's their sets of asses. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Time to clean up the filth.
Here I come.
A message from Dark and Darker says, posted a screenshot and said, here's a message from the devs about the Nexon drama. Quote, do not worry too much about what you hear regarding Nexon. Most of what you will see on the internet is not accurate. There will be no delay in development and there's nothing to worry about. Smile. That's awesome. But taking the own advice on the tweet, not trusting everything on the internet, it's kind of hard to then trust what that message is saying, wouldn't you say? Don't trust what you're going to read on the internet. Now read this thing on the internet. Okay. And for the record, just to put this out there, because, you know, I like to keep you guys informed. I like you to be able to talk about this amongst yourselves in an educated manner. There's a gentleman that I found named Force Strategy Gaming a while back. He's a big YouTuber. And here is a picture of P3, the Nexon project. And here's a picture of Dark and Darker. You can see the map is even in the square format. The button icons look similar. Like it's here's some more pictures. These are from P3. This is not Dark and Darker. So, I mean, you know, that looks kind of similar. Here's a spell book with 3 spells loaded. This guy's opening a chest. He's a rogue. Here's a barbarian with his big 2-hand axe and his health bar across the bottom. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that a P3 project did exist. It did look a lot like Dark and Darker. You know, we're just going to have to see what that means. Now, there is, of course, an argument in saying, well, they're both generic fantasy games. Nexon is not, or the Dark and Darker devs are not saying that their game is not based on P3. What they're saying is they thought it was a good idea. Nexon dropped it. I mean, like, for instance, one of the things that very well could develop from this is that the Nexon devs that were working on P3 were passionate about it. Nexon then dropped the project and said, we're not going to make this. And those devs then left Nexon and said, well, we believe in this project. We're going to go find a company to make it. So they found the Dark and Darker devs, made it from the ground up. And here we are. And if that's the case, it's kind of like, is that wrong? I mean, if Nexon canceled the project and said, we're not going to make this, and those devs were like, well, we think it's awesome and we want to make it, and they left and made it, is that wrong? So, I mean, I do think that if it's that kind of thing, I don't think the Darker devs have anything to worry about. And in that kind of thing, it's kind of a huge dick move by Nexon. But if it does turn out that when those devs left, they took with them code or assets and then put those in Dark and Darker, that's where the problem's going to be. That's where there's going to be actual problems. So yeah, again, we're going to have to see how it all turns out. We'll be following it closely because I love Dark and Darker. I think the game's amazing. I've talked personally with the devs. They seem very passionate about their project. I can't wait to play it more. So I'm rooting for them, and I would say I trust them a little more than Nexon. But again, you know, we'll deal with the facts as they come out.
What to do?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll all see together.
Well, well. Easy.
Damn, 1100?
I've gained valuable insight.
It could go very bad. I think the only way it could go really bad is if it does turn out. I think a worst case scenario would be that if the people that left Nexon actually did take things and put them in the game without telling the developers at Iron Mace. I think that's a worst case scenario, because then the Iron Mace devs would be out there honestly thinking that everything's okay. It would not be okay. And then all of the not okay could come to light, and then everything's screwed at that point. So like, I think that's the worst case. But I don't think if it does turn out that it's just an idea from a canceled project, I don't think there's much legal standing there. I mean, games copy games all the time. So you can't copyright the idea of a game. So it's not like that. There's no standing to do that. Julia, I've heard about that before. Yeah, I've heard about that before as well. That's a perfect example. As an egotistical consumer, there's little to worry about. If Dark and Darker fails, there's going to be about 24 copies within 2 months. I think if there were going to be a bunch of copies of Dark and Darker, I think we'd be seeing them already. It's not super easy to make games like that, as we've seen from Tarkov, and even Marauders has been having issues. There's the cycle. You know, there already exist a lot of those games, but
What
Dark and
to
Darker
do?
is the first one since Tarkov that's really made any kind of a big splash.
Well, well. Easy. All
Marauders is
tidied
dead?
up.
Yeah, I think Marauders suffered, and here's what's interesting. I think Marauders, one of the reasons the Cycle and Marauders is doing so poorly, I feel, is because both of them just turned on their servers, basically. And I think with an extraction shooter, not having like a season kind of thing, and keeping your servers up all the time, I don't think it's a coincidence that Tarkov is successful and has wipes, and Dark and Darker is hugely popular because people can't play it all the time. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. I think that the best extraction shooters we see in the future are going to have built-in mechanics to where you're constantly having to start over in some regard.
Oh dear.
Because that's when the most fun in those games is when everyone's on the same level. Like that's just the way it is.
Keep harm at bay, O sacred shield.
So yeah, figuring out how to do that in a way that makes players engaged and want to continue playing your product through the seasons that's the big secret, man. That's the secret.
Next.
I need a plan. Let me look at you.
My turn. There's no need for flattery. It'll rust my sword.
Hey, Rocket Launcher, thank you so much, buddy. Best of vibes to you and your family, dude. Have you ever played much CS? Any excitement for CS2? Are you talking about City Skylines? Yes. I actually played the hell out of City Skylines back in the day, and I'm very much looking forward to City Skylines 2. Yep. Is that what you're talking about? I'm just keep going. What's over here? Hold up. Hold up. Are you gonna check out the finals playtest?
Out of my way.
I mean, maybe.
Now
I watched a
begins.
few friends played it, and it looked pretty
I'm waiting.
normal.
My
I
turn.
didn't really see anything in it that really blew me away. I didn't watch for long though.
Well,
so.
well.
I need a plan. Let me look at you.
I mean, what do you guys think? Is there anything special in the finals? Are any of you playing the finals? And how do you like it if you are?
You won't believe
This wasn't in my calculations.
Oh damn. Or just fell asleep. What is the finals? It's kind of a new. I think it seemed like it's kind of a. It's like a Battlefield dev. Or from ex-devs from DICE made it. It's a first-person competitive game. I'm not really sure what the gameplay loop is, to be honest.
What is this? For the pride.
It's a zoomer shooter. How do we get to this other side? Looks like there's a path back here. I guess we have to go down here first. It's not really a BR.
Time to clean up the
It
filth.
mixes capture, zone control, and arena
Thinking
elements
time.
into one game mode. That sounds kind of cool.
Fire.
What to do?
Is it overly
Well,
complicated?
well.
I can still fight. Allow me.
Ow, 450. Damn, girl.
Be healed.
I need a plan. Fire. You're finished. I've gained valuable insight.
Do you believe that Starfield might have some bugs at launch? I would be baffled if Starfield didn't have bugs at launch. That's how I feel about that. I would be actually baffled if the game was not relatively buggy on launch.
Shall we?
My turn.
Is there any way to change your party in the field?
As swift as a snake.
Or do you have to be in a town?
Well, well. What's next? All tidied up.
Only in town. Sorry, bro says, how much do you charge to be added into a game? It completely depends on the situation. If it's like a big AAA game like Cyberpunk or other projects I might do, they're like legally obligated to pay me a certain amount. You know, and that can be relatively large compensation. But if it's like an indie game, you know, I do indie games anywhere from free to very cheap, like as much as they offer, kind of thing. I don't, you know, all depends on the resources of the company. Yep. Let's do this.
Blaze on.
Yeah, about tree
My
fitting.
turn.
I'd say about tree fitting. I think that's fair.
I'm waiting.
What to do? Well. So that's your weakness.
How's the game so far? I'm enjoying it. That's all I know for sure.
Fire. How weak. Study hard.
How would you compare this to the first one? Better.
Stand aside or fight.
Now then.
Here I come. I'm waiting.
Cleaning time.
Dang, they have like all 5 things between them. Jerks.
Well.
Oh dear.
And you got like nothing.
Now die.
My turn. As swift as a snake. What to do?
I need a plan.
Prepare yourself. It's over for the pride of Cohh.
I have a question. Like, how improvising are you allowed to do with the voicing a character, or is it limited to what the devs want? Completely depends on the project. $100% depends on the project. When the chosen apothecary appears, I shall bestow power upon them. I wanted to bring Casty with me. Damn it. Oh wait, can I travel to that? I might be able to fast travel to that. Hold on. I'm gonna go down here and get Cassie. What? Why can't I fast travel? Oh, I haven't been there yet. Cheat. Hit 28.
Cleaning time. Well. Who's next? I take what I want.
What are all the games you've had an appearance in? Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous,
I need a
Cyberpunk,
plan.
Encased, King Arthur, Surge 2, Solasta, Those of Eternity 2.
Let me look at you.
Frozen Flame.
Ready?
I have a bad one.
Well.
You have people in Helix.
Easy.
Oh, I'm in Yakuza
Here
now.
I come.
Yep. That's weird to say.
It's over for the pride of Cohh.
Game of Thrones. I was Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. Ooh. Ooh. Minus 45 accuracy. We'll try it, but.
I suggest you get out of my way.
Thinking time. Fire.
Now it begins. Unsolved.
Incredible method actor. I do it. Yeah, Julia, you liked it? I saw that you played it. I wanted to ask you how it went.
Well. Who's next? All tidied up.
Ooh. Oh!
Because
Dude, that's like over twice. What am I? Oh my god, dude, it's amazing. Oh, good, man.
now it begins. I'm waiting.
Cleaning time. Ah, well, well.
Fire. Broken.
Oh dear.
Thinking time. Fire.
Now it begins. Choose your next move wisely.
Cleaning time. Thanks.
Oh dear.
Oh, they're attacking with spells,
Ready?
so he's not rude.
Very well.
Here. For the pride of Cohh.